mania, which is March Madness.
Yep.
With Selection Sunday just under 3 weeks away, CBS provided a little sneak peek into who they believe will be those dancing next month, highlighted by the number 1 team in each region in Alabama, Houston, Purdue, and Kansas. Starting with Kelly. Kelly, what is your biggest takeaway from this bracket preview?
I mean, to be honest, I think it's really exciting when there's a year where Alabama's basketball team is better than their football team.
Right? That's never happened.
Crazy times we're living in. Never thought I would say that. But that's something I'm really excited about going to this tournament is Alabama. And another team also that terrorizes me multiple times this season is Purdue. So they're in my conference with Penn State. So I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with them for the rest of the season, to see, you know, what happens with this tournament. But I'm super excited. I know we got some good teams going in, some of the classics, Houston, Kansas, Purdue. So I think this is going to be a great tournament this year.
Now I want to talk about Alabama. Jeff, why is Alabama sitting at the fourth best odds to take on the NCAA title at plus 1,000? Why is the Crimson Tide a force to be reckoned with?
They've proven that they can play in SEC basketball. And SEC basketball isn't known for being a top 3 conference in college basketball, but this year they are with Tennessee, Kentucky, a lot of quality teams. And Alabama has shown that they can play in big game moments and they can take on the Gonzagas, the Xaviers, those type of teams. And I believe that their offense, you know, with Miller, their offense is electric and they pass the ball around at such an efficient rate. And the team just knows how to flow together well. And when it's all the team working together and they have a good bench depth, I think that Alabama, you know, is looking really good.
Now Miller is likely going to be probably drafted in the 5-6 range. What do you like most about that guy's game? He's a hooper.
No, I'm not gonna lie. That boy is nice on all sides of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? And listen, bro. You know what Anthony Edwards say? Whatever you need me to do, I'm gonna do it. And that's literally what he showcases out there on the court. You know, he's absolutely fearless, has a tenacity. You know, it's a very exciting prospect. I really do hope to see this guy succeed in the NBA. You know, so.
Kelly, what do you like the most about Brandon Miller's game?
I mean, first of all, he's huge. He's 6'9". He's averaging 18.7 points per game, which is kind of a crazy number, just averaging 18.7 points per game. And then when their last game, they played Georgia, and they won 108-59. They wiped the floor with them. Like, that's embarrassing. So I think, kind of like what you guys were saying, I mean, he's really confident. He's willing to do what he needs to do for his team to get these wins, get these huge wins. So I'm really excited to see him in the league, and I definitely think, like, you know, he's being projected top 10. So I think he could be one of those young guys that makes a difference for some of these NBA teams that are struggling. So I think he's definitely going to fit well because he kind of is the guy to do whatever you need him to do. So
I think what obviously he has that 6'9". The best comparison obviously is like a Jason Tatum. Paul George, kind of long, lengthy, can really create his own shot.
Dude,
but
I love players like that. Yeah.
It's the defense that really impressed me. He really does his motor defensively. He averages almost a steal and a block per game. Really plays really good help side defense. But Jeff, I want to ask you, out of those 4 top 1 seeds, which one do you like the most as a contender when it comes to March?
I'm taking Kansas, and the reason why is they have Jaren Wilson Jr., and he, like you were talking about, prototypical NBA 4 body, 20 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 2.5 assists. And Grady Dick, a freshman, he's likely another top 10 pick. He's hitting 40% from three-point range right now. Yeah. I feel like that team has the key pieces, has the three-point shooting, has the defense, has the coaching. It has the pedigree of a all-time program for the Kansas JAYHAWKS. That's why I am choosing them as my number 1 seed to go through.
Is Kansas going to do anything?
I mean, in spite of Noah Kemper, no. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to take it over to the Pac-12. I'm going to talk about UCLA Bruins. You know, they had some quality talents in the past year. I was going to say Lonzo Ball, but he's been injured this year. I'm a Bulls fan, but, you know, he's going to come back. But, no, UCLA was really good. They got James Jacquez Jr. averaging 16.8 points per game and 8.1 rebounds. Absolute monster. He's a guard, by the way. He's considered a guard. He averages 8 rebounds a game. Are you kidding me? Like, what? Then, you know, they got great defensive players in Jalen Clark averaging 2.7 steals a game. They're just an all-around good team. Then we also have players like Adam Bona, 1.6 blocks per game. And on top of that, you have, let me see, make sure I get the name right because I do not want to misspeak on air. You got David Singleton, 43.8% from the three-point. That's a quality team. You know, they do it all, you know. The only thing I guess you could say is, like, the other teams just look so good. Like, I thought, like, as corny as that sounds, the other teams just look a little bit better, but I think they're a sleeper, and they're right outside, one of the top favorites to win it. So
no, They just jumped up to number 4 in yesterday's AP poll. Not a number 1 seed, most likely going to be a 2 or 2. Might be able to jump up to a 1. Kelly, what is, outside of the top teams, who is your biggest sleeper? I already know it, but we have to show some Florida teams some love. So why is FAU a sleeper?
Well, I know me and Jeff, been around the block a couple times at FAU, but it's pretty exciting to see FAU doing so well. I mean, they haven't lost a game at home this year. They've only lost they have lost 3 games at Ole Miss, at UAB, and at Middle Tennessee State just last Thursday. So it was a close game. They have a home game coming up this week. I think seeing FAU get into this tournament is huge for smaller schools. I mean, that's what I love about March Madness, is giving these smaller schools a chance to be shown themselves and show their skills. I mean, we've seen it before with St. Mary's and a couple years ago with Loyola Chicago. So I think it's really cool to have another team like that in FAU. I mean, I remember 2 years ago they were trying to do tailgates for basketball just to get people to come to the games. Mm-hmm. And now, while there's still, it's a small stadium the size of a high school basketball stadium, but there's people there, the stands are full, and that's going to make a difference. And I think that's why they haven't lost any home games this year. So you kind of have a couple guys who are really great, and they're playing really, really well. They're averaging, sorry, notes don't know where they went, but they're averaging really well. And I think FAU, could be one of the best, well, if not the best basketball team coming out of Florida.
And
sorry
you know why?
to the Hurricane fans. Don't think they're going to get it done in the tournament. But Jeff.
Coach Dusty May, the former UF assistant coach, came over 3 years ago to FAU and has completely changed that program. And now that team, Michael Forrest as a guard, he's been playing exceptionally well. He's in his senior year now. I remember when I went there also, and I looked at the team. I was like, this team has some special talent. And I feel like the West Palm Beach area, that area needs a good basketball team.
Right.
And I just want to throw out a really, really solid option. They're 5,000 against the betting line right now. Kentucky. Put your bets on Kentucky, because the Wildcats, the last time they were a number 8 seed or below, they made the national championship, and you can't count out John Calipari. And they also have forward Oscar Shabiwe, averaging 16.2 points per game and 12.7 rebounds per game. He's averaging a double-double, and he's doing it in big moments.
That's crazy.
They took down Tennessee, who was number 5 at home earlier in January, and then they took them down again in Kentucky in Lexington. I just think you need to put your money on Kentucky, because those guys will prove you wrong.
Reigning Player of the Year, Oscar Tshiebwe, of course, but I don't mean to end the discussion on FAU because they deserve all the flowers. But Luka, you had our player with purpose this week.
I did, yes. And I talked about her on our Black History Month show, but she deserves all the praise. Today we're talking about Serena Williams. Serena Williams is our player with purpose today. She is the Goodwill Ambassador she's a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador. In 2006, Serena partnered with the initiative for the very first time. She visited the country of Ghana, which is from my home continent, so I resonate with this personally. Her connection to the organization has just only been gotten better ever since. She was a leading voice for UNICEF Schools for African Initiative, and she backed the Every Child Alive campaign and was an advocate on the New Schools for Asia movement. And this is all outside of tennis, by the way. I've not brought up a single tennis stat, but if I get into that, we can go for days. Like I said, her work was greatly centered around creating opportunities in education and development for underserved youth. Saw her appointed UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador in 2011. And she has sat on several boards, including Elton John and the AIDS Foundation and Billie Jean King and Leadership Initiative. So just an absolute star-studded athlete on and off the field. And during this Black History Month, who else to recognize than the greatest female tennis player we have ever seen? And it's going to be a long time before we've seen somebody else anything like her. So that's my player of purpose this week.
No, thank you, Luka, for that. I mean, you said you didn't even need to touch on the tennis stuff because we could talk about that for hours.
Come on.
We are going to toss to a quick commercial break, but don't go anywhere because
welcome to HTF Hot Takes. I'm Johnny Jackson. We've got Emily Aaron to my right and Weluka Costa to my left.
Hello and welcome to our segment of Hot Ones. I'm here with Noah Kemper and Grant
Wheeler.
Yep, I knew that. Grant Wheeler.
Listen, I'm a Bulls fan, but I just can't ever argue against LeBron. I watched him my whole life.
I've been going back and forth with this debate for a long time. It's got to be Michael Jordan.
Whatever she wanted. I would wake up in a maid costume for Doja Cat.
Brutal.
Jeffery Laux, no question.
Richie. I would give it to Richie.
It is not Richie. It is not Richie.
No, it's Jeff.
Richie's pronouns are he, they, because he cannot be him.
What?
Oh, where's that?
I'm gonna have to also agree and say Jeff. He always is spiffy.
It might be Cameron. Cameron's had some good fits.
Out of the women, Riley always dresses really, really cute.
Oh. That went so awful.
It's basketball.
College football, I think, is the best sport to watch.
If you don't like soccer, it's because you suck at it.
I think college football is the best.
Thanks for watching.
Like I mentioned, this segment we are going to be diving into what was an up and down All-Star weekend, to say the least. Luca, I want to start with you. What was your favorite moment?
Yeah, you see, everyone's gonna go with Matt McClung, but we're talking about basketball, but I'm gonna throw a curveball. I'm gonna talk about Damian Lillard winning the 3-point contest because that was so deserved, man. Damian Lillard has been, bro, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Damian Lillard is seriously, in my opinion, one of the most undervalued shooters the NBA has ever seen because nobody talks about, everyone talks about Steph Curry. Like, don't get me wrong, that's cool. But Damian Lillard has a burner. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Bro, he did not miss a single one from the starry. He made every single starry shot he took. What does that say? So I'm gonna say Damian Lillard because it is a long time coming. Third time is a charm, like he said. Three-point contest appearances, his very first win, and he won it so close to home. So that just makes it all the better, you know. So shout out Dame, shout out the Portland Trailblazers and Ron, because you know that boy loves that boy, the only Trailblazers fan I ever met. But that's gonna be my moment for the All-Star.
No, that was a great one, and I'm sure the rest of us are gonna go with Mac McClung. I know he was my favorite moment. Was that, Kelly? I want to ask you. Was that the best dunk contest since 2016?
Of course.
Since Zach LaVine and
The other
Aaron
one sucked.
Gordon?
Yes, all of them
Honestly, I mean, Aaron Gordon is one of the best talents I've seen in the dunk contest ever. And I think seeing Mac McClung this year, I was like, oh, wow. I mean, it's kind of like that. I mean, he had, what did he have? 3 out of the 4 dunks to score 50 points, which was kind of crazy.
And he should have had a 50 on the one he didn't score on.
That's what I'm saying.
He should have had a 50.
Right. What was the last one, like 49?
49.8.
Yeah,
Oh
because
my
I
gosh.
can't even remember. Lisa Leslie, I think, gave her.
High
9.
school mixtape legend. I mean, he exactly what we said he would do. He showed off, and I think that was a lot of fun to watch. The dunk contest is always so much fun to watch.
Jeff,
And
how much did you enjoy this year's dunk contest? 1 out of 10, what would you rate it?
10.
I'd give it a solid 8 since there's no Magic players in it. But that's just my bias self. But I feel like the competition was really quality, and I enjoyed seeing the celebrities on the sideline be able to go up and record and have reactions with Mac McClung, with a couple of these other dunk contest players. So I thought it was a good contest overall.
And I gotta ask y'all, what was y'all favorite dunk? Because I'm not gonna. Mine was definitely the one, bro. The one where he tapped the backboard.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Tap the backboard reverse is insane. So that's definitely gotta be mine.
I think I got to go with the winner. His last dunk,
the little
which was
360, like.
I don't even know if it was a 540, if it was a 720.
Whatever,
I
really,
still
right?
don't know, but that was so cool to watch. We were talking about it. I mean, unless you are a die-hard, like, big into high school basketball, most people
wouldn't
did
know
not
who Mac
know
McClung
Mac
is.
McClung is.
high
but
school
no.
mixtape legend.
Yeah, like he reigning G League Rookie of the Year.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
If you weren't really a diehard hoops fan, you probably didn't know the name. Now he put the world on notice.
He did. Now he's in Philly. He got a contract there.
I-
I'm not gonna.
He got like 900,000 followers from that. 900,000 followers he got from that.
Yep. Which is
from the dunk
honestly, that
contest.
honestly gets me upset because, like you said, he was so good in high school. He was a top recruit, but that's enough of that.
Talking about the not so fun moments of the Jeff, you already left. What was that All-Star game?
I mean, Boston Celtics guard Jaylen Brown said it perfectly. It was a layup line. And it really was. If you take a look at the highlights, I felt like overall the teams just did not really care. Damian Lillard was shooting it up from half court, making it.
Bro.
LeBron James is going down, doing all the windmill dunks he could. You know, I
Off the
found.
glass.
Yeah, I just feel like they're imploring ways to incentivize these guys to be caring for this game, but it really hasn't been good ever since 2018, 2019, and I think it keeps on going downhill, downhill, downhill. I mean, how do y'all feel?
How do we fix it?
Play some defense.
How do you do it when you want players not to get injured, though? That's a tough part.
But the only thing is, right, bro, the entire point of them having the charity at the end, winning each corner, is to play defense. That's really the whole part. I guess the whole purpose. Like, you're playing for a charity. You're playing for kids.
I mean, LeBron even got hurt. He hurt his hand on a dunk when
Giannis did too.
Yep.
Right? Like, I think he sprained his wrist.
He was already injured
on the
though.
first
He wasn't gonna
play.
Yeah. But no, like I just wish, you know, like obviously, like I'm not saying you got to play an all-star like caliber defense, but it would be fun to see. Like we never see the best of the best go at it. So the one time we get to, it would be fun to see some defense for 2 minutes.
And that's the biggest thing with the All-Star game is this should be the greatest pickup game ever. Right? These are the best NBA players in the world. And I want to read this quote that Mike Malone said after the game. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to even be a part of this great weekend, great players. But this is the worst basketball game ever played.
Kelly, from Mike.
Is that? I mean, look. Actually, I want to ask you: was that the worst basketball game you've ever watched? And how do we fix it?
Now, I wouldn't say it's the worst basketball game we ever watched, but like about fixing it, I don't think there's any way to fix it unless you know, like the only way you can really fix it if the NBA Players Association comes together and is like, hey, like this is an All-Star game, we're playing for kids, like let's put on a show. You know, it has to come from the players before it can come from anybody else. And I guess like maybe like instead of doing like a 5-on-5, like a 3-on-3. Like I've heard that idea we've all heard that idea for years now. A 3-on-3 tournament for the All-Star would be so one-on-one would be lit. You heard Mike Beasley said, "Oh, that would be so much." That would stump all the debates of who's better than who.
Yeah, I like it, but you know my option would be to make it East and West again, and whichever team wins, you know, gets a favor in the playoffs, gets a favor somewhere along the line.
That would be some crazy incentive.
Where it's incentivizing in the future, you know.
Kelly, is that too much to like put on an All-Star game to put that much on the line with home court advantage in the playoffs? No.
I mean, to be honest, I do like Jeff's idea of East and West because then I feel like it's not really like one team or the other because right.
It's just no pride.
Kyrie was carrying for Team LeBron, but you guys are talking about not putting on a show. What are you talking? Jason Tatum scored 55 points. How is that not putting on a show?
But that's cool, bro. Like we can see that.
Also, you guys are missing the point. You guys are missing the point. This is an all-star game. Like this is what the league is for. Like this is literally for our pure entertainment. Like we're not going. We are not going. Okay, but to be honest, it's for the money, yeah, for the kids, but it is for our entertainment because that's where the money's coming from. So I don't understand why you're like, we need more defense, which is what Joel Embiid was trying to get happen. I mean, he was running down the court and just dunking on people because there was no one to stop him. He's so big. So he was trying to get other people to play defense, but they're not going to. This is kind of like a show off how good I can shoot it kind of type thing, and which we're still entertained by. I mean, I don't think we're going to get like a super competitive game because what's going to come out of it? You might get injured for nothing when you still have the rest of the season to go. I mean, I think maybe if you put it at the end of the year, like then maybe it would be more competitive.
No, because look, if you put it at the end of the year, if you put it at the end of the year, then players are not going to want to play because playoffs are coming around. They're going to be even more likely to not play because then they have playoffs coming up. They're definitely not going to play any defense. You put it at the end of the year, like you know what I'm saying. And like I'm telling you, a lot of people who watch hoops want defense. Like that's the entertainment factor.
I just look back into like when Kobe and like those guys.
They played defense.
Kobe, like he said, every time it didn't matter if it was an All-Star game. He was going out to beat somebody. And I'm not. I obviously, you know, with the way the league is now, I'm not expecting them to go 100 like it's Game 7 of the finals. But if Jason Tatum scoring 55, like you mentioned, that should have been such a bigger deal than it was. Because
exactly, bro.
That's an All-Star
game. He had
31.5.
That's a record.
Like that should have been a way bigger deal than it was.
27 points in the third quarter. That's also another record. He had 2 records in that one game, and people were like, "It's boring." Like,
ask him how. Well, let's check how many times someone was guarding him. Like, it doesn't, bro. Anyone could put up 31 in a quarter if. Like, are you serious? Like, it's not hard to put up 31 in a quarter when everyone's playing nonchalant. And it's like, you don't have to play all you said.
There's only 2 players.
You're not coming for a competitive game. You don't have to put up Game 7 defense, like Riley said, but you can play a little, like, you've played 21 with your friends before. You know you're playing a little bit of defense. Like, come on, you can make it work. It's more for entertainment than it is for competitiveness at the end of the day. It's for the kids, yes, but it is more for entertainment than it is for competition.
Yeah, it absolutely should be entertainment, but I was not entertained. I watched the whole game. Yes, Joel and Kyrie were kind of trying. I think they had the most effort out of everybody, but it still wasn't that entertaining to watch. But also, really quick, I do want to touch on the skills challenge because that was also a snooze fest.
I didn't even watch it.
It was 3-on-3, like you said. It was 3-on-3. The Utah Jazz had their team with like Walker Kessler since they were the hometown. They were hosting the All-Star game. There was a rookie team and then the Antetokounmpo brothers. They were each like going head to head. The Jazz team won, but I don't think anybody really cared. Jeff, how do you fix the skills challenge?
I don't know if there's a way to fix it without actually just completely replacing it and then putting in another event. like you said earlier, a one-on-one would be,
That would be
so
so
good.
That would be so-
Or maybe like a game of horse or a game of pig or something like that, where you
That'd
know you're
actually be
taking
great.
shots, you have to go out and make the same one, kind of like backyard ball.
Or around the world.
Yes, around the world would be
Around the world
crazy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Knockout?
Around the-
Knockout
Oh!
during the All-Star
I'm not gonna
game?
lie, I think that's a winner chicken dinner. The
Yeah.
All-Star knockout would go crazy. I can't cap.
All-Star knockout. No, and looking back in the kind of old skills challenge, it was guards. It was 4 guards versus 4 forwards, which I liked that format. You know, dribble through the cones, do all that kind of stuff. I just don't think there's any fixing the way it is now. It's too confusing. I didn't really know how they were even keeping score, to be honest. I was so confused because you didn't have to make a shot to oh my god, it was horrible. But that is all the time that we have for the NBA All-Star Weekend segment. Surefire bet of the week, part of this week's show. I do want to give Kelly her flowers from last week. She got both of her picks right.
Boom, boom.
So Kelly, I am going to start with you this week.
What are the records?
I don't know what the records.
It's okay, nobody saw the records.
I don't know them off the top of my head, but I think I'm posting 2 and 4 because I went with Team LeBron last week. Jeff is equal at an even 500, 3 and 3. Luka leading the way at 4 and 1. And Kelly just behind him at 3 and 1. Kelly, what is your surefire bet of the week?
All right, so Camden, it's our week. Penn State is playing Ohio State tonight at 6:30. Ohio State is favored by 2.5 points, and the over/under is 142.5.
No, they're not.
I obviously am taking my Nittany Lions.
Okay, I was about to say.
I still can't believe Ohio State has a chance to win. I was making highlights on them yesterday, and this team is they are horrible. They're awful, atrocious. Iowa would literally steal the ball from them, run it down the court, and just dunk on them. I think 3 plays in a row where just nobody around them.
Yo, someone get her a uniform right now. Someone get her a
So,
jersey.
you know, Jalen Pickett, he is a guard for Penn State. He's averaging 18.6 points per game, 7.4 rebounds, and is 52.3% from the field goal line. So I'm really excited to see these guys play tonight. Actually, I think it was last year Penn State sweep the series with Ohio State. They didn't win not but a 1. So I'm hoping that's what happens this year. Ohio State has one good player in Bryce Sensabaugh. He's doing 16.5 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, and 48.2% from the field goal. So obviously our numbers are looking better. I don't know why they're favored, even if it's a home game. I mean, we beat them there last year every time we played them at home too. So I'm taking my Nittany Lions very confidently.
I like that pick. Ohio State, like you said, is horrible. Yesterday, they played Purdue, who was struggling going into the games, lost 3 of their last 4, and steamrolled them to the tune of an 82-55 win over the Buckeyes. But my surefire bet of the week, I am going to get back on track. I am going to go with tomorrow night. NBA regular season kicks back
Finally.
tonight. I'm going to go with the game tomorrow night. The Brooklyn Nets are traveling to Chicago to take on the Bulls at 8 p.m. Sorry, Luka.
Makes sense.
I'm rocking with Brooklyn.
Fair
I
enough.
really like this new. I don't think they're contenders by any means. Let me just get that out right now. But I really do like this new look Nets team.
Me too.
They kept Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton, along with all the players they got in these various trades.
Smorgasbord.
Including Mikal Bridges, who went off for 45 last week against the Heat. 45 burger in Brooklyn's last game before the All-Star break. So I'm going to rock with Brooklyn. I really think they're going to get back on track, even though they obviously gave up Kyrie and KD. I like the new look Nets. Luka, what is your surefire bet of the week?
Yeah, I'm gonna go to footy. I'm gonna go to Premier League soccer. Going to England. taking Arsenal, plays Leicester City Saturday at 10 a.m. I'm, of course, taking my Gunners. You guys know me. Gunners still sit at the top of the table. El Ezra. They're coming off a thriller versus Villa. They were down 2-0, came back and won 4-2 thanks to a screamer by the man, the myth, Jorginho, the skipper, Jorginho. They're top of the table at 54 points, like I said, but City does show close behind. Leicester City are 14th place, though, and they're coming off a 3-0 loss to United. And you know what's another thing we don't want to talk about? I'm about to read some stats real quick. Kevin De Bruyne is the leading, has the league leader in assists in the Premier League, right, with 12. Guess who's second? Bukayo Saka with 8. Guess who's 7th and 8th? Martin Odegaard with 6, and Gabriel Jesus with 5. Gabriel Jesus has not played soccer in 2 months, and he's still top 10 assists. So Arsenal, like I said, they lost their 2 games, and they lost Everton, lost to City. I think they're going to bounce back against Leicester and get the win on the weekend. And you know who to listen to because I have the best record. I'm 4-1. So.
Luke, Jeff, you also went into some footy?
Yes, some footy, but we're going to America footy. So
the
we're
States.
talking about soccer.
Yes.
So I'm taking the home team, Orlando City Soccer. They're being visited by the New York Red Bulls. And these teams faced off 3 times last season. 2 regular season and 1 Open Cup match. And Orlando City came on top 2-1 in all 3 matches. And the reason I think that Orlando City is going to pull through is Facundo Torres.
Yes,
that
sir.
man is a beast.
Yes,
and by the end of the summer, he'll probably be on the European squad, maybe over in your squad.
Yeah.
I just feel like New York Red Bulls, they really haven't reloaded. They have John Tolkien, he's a solid left back, and they also have Luquinhos, who's also a really good midfielder, but they also haven't reloaded, and they still have turf in their stadium. Get rid of the turf. Turf it causes injuries. There's statistics backing it up. Get rid of the turf, because I don't want to visit there anytime soon.
As someone who played soccer, I can tell you playing on turf sucks. It is not fun at all.
Why does New York still have it? But what are they doing?
I don't know. It's because they share the stadium with the Yankees and all of that good
yeah,
stuff.
that makes
So
sense,
New York's just cheap, and it's just a cheap program. That's why Orlando City is going to win this week.
Yeah.
Now, if there is anything that I know going into Surefire Bets of the Week is that Jeff will always ride for the hometown
Yup,
team.
never.
It's not the Magic.
Yep.
It will always be Orlando City.
And he's 3-3.
Hey.
He's even.
Hey, the Magic have pulled through at least once out of the 4 times I've betted on them.
I know Magic are 4 games back with 23 games left. Are they going to reach the plan?
They can do it. 4 games.
Is it statistically possible?
Yeah.
Like, can we actually?
Yeah.
It's just the East is really good.
Yeah.
The East is so stacked.
Yeah.
It can.
But I see the Hawks possibly taking a dip. I see the Bulls possibly taking a dip. So I see other teams possibly falling out for the Magic to move right in. So I'm confident, but we'll have to see how Paulo, Franz, and Wendell play.
You heard it here first. Orlando might have a chance to reach a plan, but that is all the time we have for today, unfortunately. But for Kellie Campbell, for Weluka Costa, and for Jeffery Laux, I am Riley Sheppard, and we will see you all again next week.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back, okay? Always locked in, I don't got time to laugh.